Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Detour proudly presents you a winning combination, the wonderful Portugal. Adventure Country Tracks, Trans-Euro Trail, the little but great CRF300L, and to top this hand, here comes the Joker, Offroad Offcourse, represented by Diogo Guerra. A wonderful adventure awaits you, trust me.
After being woken up a couple of times by the hotel fire alarm during the night around 2 and 3 in the morning, the first night's sleep on the trail was obviously not the best. After breakfast, I went over to the group's hotel and had Diogo have a look at my chain. It was obviously ready for being replaced, but keeping it lubed kept the noise away. I set off a bit ahead of the group and took the opportunity to have a look at the Geodessic Center of Portugal, located here in Vila de Rei, just next to the group's hotel and the trail. You can think of the Geodessic Center as the point where you could balance a flat, rigid cutout of the country on the tip of a needle, assuming uniform thickness, uniform density, and only the mainland area is included. This point is essentially the centroid, the geometric center of mass of the country's shape. There's even a monument called Pico de Mel Risa and a viewing tower marking the spot at the top of the 592-meter high mountain. The view from up here on a nice clear morning as this was is obviously fantastic, and I'm glad I made this stop before leaving Vila de Rei. Oops. Almost missed this one. That happened quite often, I'm afraid. I was trying to make a habit of checking the map at every intersection I came to, but still I had to make quite a few corrections along the tour. Again, I have to give credit to Diogo at Offroad Offcourse for putting his Northern Odyssey route together. I'm really not sure if I am on the ACT or the TET here, or if it is one of Diogo's own preferred tracks, but anyway, it is a splendid choice and not a track I would have found if I tried myself. The great thing about riding in Portugal is that you can apparently find interesting tracks basically all over the country of varying technical levels. The Northern Odyssey route suited my skill level just fine. Lots of scenic views and a relaxed ride. The northernmost daily sections were maybe a bit long, as you will see in later episodes, but overall a 10 out of 10 for me. It wasn't only gravel roads, of course. Some scenic paved roads were traversed in between, many of them through more rural, picturesque parts like this. I was riding up towards the top of a ridge here, and I noticed several of these round constructions, making me wonder what their original purpose had been. My first thought was that they might have been some kind of food storage facility, but it turned out they were ancient windmills, once critical to every village, grinding corn and wheat for baking bread and processing grain. And possibly thanks to these, Portugal now has many beautiful roads leading up to these old windmills, roads we can enjoy on our motorcycles today. Oops. I'm so sorry, old lady. It was absolutely not my intention to scare you. Sometimes the track led me into tight alleys like these, and even after checking the map several times, I was still wondering, can this really be the right way? And then it opened up and a new road to explore appeared. Today's ride took me toward the highest mountains in Portugal, following roads that seemed purpose-built to reach the old windmills, often running along ridges between valleys with sweeping views over the villages below. It was also my first close encounter with modern wind turbines, towering giants positioned along these windswept ridges. They are a striking addition to the landscape, not to everyone's taste, but I can't help finding them graceful and beautifully engineered, their enormous blades turning effortlessly in the wind. After spending some time by the wind turbines with my new drone, testing features like anti-collision, Diogo's group eventually caught up with me and passed me on the ridge. After a good break, I packed up and continued northward, aiming for the Star Mountains, Serra de Estrela, the highest mountain range in continental Portugal.
I'm sure it's wonderful, but it's too hot for these days. Maybe next time.
It was well into the afternoon, and the sun was beginning its descent. I had one more town to pass through before starting the final climb up to the Serra de Estrela mountains. I noticed a pack of bikers taking refuge in the shade by a gas station. I knew those guys. I caught up with the group and rode alongside them up to Alto de Torre, the highest peak in the range, standing 1,993 meters above sea level. There was even a short gravel section on this road. Having been spoiled by riding in clean air all day, I let the guys go ahead so the dust could settle a bit. The main road to the top obviously came from the other side of the mountain. Yes, this is Portugal, mid-April, and that white stuff is snow. Just a couple of weeks earlier, Diogo had a group tour up here and really got to try how it is to move motorcycles through snow. If you look to the right here, you can see that there is actually a ski lift up here. Not really sure if it was closed for the season or just for the day. Those striking domes aren't observatories, but former radar towers used by the Portuguese Air Force and NATO during the Cold War. Today, they're disused and aging, but remain prominent landmarks at the summit.
Enjoying your self-tour?
Detour. Got the word detour.
You're ruining the video with your puns.
Meters, is it? Well, I'm just under. It isn't.
My accommodation for the night was just a few kilometers from the summit. I did not get footage of the last bit as my GoPro or my memory card started acting up after a long day and the image froze repeatedly. Luckily, all was okay the next day, but that will be another video. Thanks for watching.